Hey everybody, it's Melissa and I am super excited right now because this video is a major milestone for me. All right, so there comes a time in a young woman's life where she gets her very first sponsored YouTube video. And this is the one for me. All right, for the past couple years, I've kind of been like, I wonder what it would be like to say this video is brought to you by, like it's just, so it kind of feels surreal. I'm super giddy right now, but let me try to get profesh. All right, so this video is sponsored by Max Aroma. In case you haven't heard of Max Aroma, they're this brand that has a bunch of niche fragrances, a bunch of designer fragrances, basically 98% of what I've spoken about, like you can get at Max Aroma. And for everybody that lives outside the US and you're always like, where can I get these fragrances? The brand doesn't ship to my country. Get it at Max Aroma. They ship globally. Anywhere you are in the world, you can get your hands on what I speak on through Max Aroma. All right, so I have some discount codes below in case y'all want to take advantage of that and support the channel. If not, no worries, but there's two. I think the first one is 10% off any order. The second one is 15% off orders that are over $200, but I believe there's some exclusions that may apply. All right, but I'm gonna get y'all right. It's Black Friday around the corner, so if you're not already smelling sexy, and I know a majority of you are, this is the video for you. These are what's worked for me and some things that some of my followers have gotten back to me with positive responses. All right, first and foremost, we've got Naxos. The most popular scent I get asked about on TikTok Live over and over again. Literally 50 comments of, what's your opinion on Naxos? And I'm gonna keep it short and sweet, y'all. This is a Mafia Boss fragrance. And that's what I find intriguing about it, is it is kind of rough around the edges. It's badass, but it's smooth. It is like, there was another scent that was compared to this. I think it was Pure Havane by Mugler. Yeah, that one I find much more rough, right? Like, this is just a smooth tobacco fragrance. And it's like, it's addicting. It's magnetic. It has a great scent trail. We're talking over 12 hours of performance with minimal sprays on skin with this fragrance. This thing will definitely push. But what I love is it just has like that badass feel to it. Exactly what I said, Mafia Boss, right? It's that person that's feared, they're respected, but they also they don't have to get their hands dirty. They got people for that. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean when it kind of has a little bit of this elite, luxurious sort of vibe. You know what I mean? It's not that much of like a down and dirty sort of fragrance. So I would say wear this if you're going to lounges, wear this if you are going to get dressed up and you want something that's going to stand out from the crowd, because I promise you it will. And this is actually marketed as a unisex fragrance. And I believe online, more men talk about it. So some people might think it's more masculine, but a lot of the ladies that have bought this from my recommendation have literally just been nonstop telling me how it's their favorite perfume. Like, it just smells so good on their skin. They're getting a ton of compliments. So the compliment factor here, super high. All right, next up, we got a designer scent. This is Dior Homme 2020. If you remember me talking about Dior Homme 2020, I was kind of like, how do I say this? I was in this sort of phase where I wasn't really wearing designer fragrances as much anymore. And I never hated on designer scents, but typically I was wearing a lot of niche fragrances, and I'm going to mention the ones that I was wearing a lot during this time, right? But when I tried Dior Homme 2020, I was like, this is sensual. Like, this is a night, like this is a date night sort of fragrance, right? Or even if it's like an intimate night, not even like a date-ish fragrance, even if you're out with your friends and something and you just want like that scent that's gonna have people just like, the second it hits their nose, they're like, damn, that's sexy. You know what I mean? I think, to me, Dior Homme 2020 I like better than Dior Homme Intense. I like it better than Givenchy Gentleman Privé Reserve. I like it better than Valentino Uomo Intense, because those three scents all have like a similar sort of feel to them, but I think this one is just way more desirable. Way more desirable. I would consider this like a top 5 standard designer scent in my eyes that I wear. All right, so this one I've gotten a lot of positive reactions from. In terms of longevity though, I'd say I would do over 5 sprays of this, and it would last over 6 hours. But you don't have to overspray like crazy with this fragrance, especially if you're gonna be indoors. But this is just so good. It's so, so good. All right, next up, I'm holding Vibrato by Suspiro. All right, now, y'all have heard me say this. I still think that Afternoon Swim is better. I still do. But for all of you niche heads that are into things like Tigar, which I still haven't tried Tigar, but I get a lot of comparisons with Arrakis Spirit of Kings, Vibrato by Suspiro, Tigar by Bulgari, and Afternoon Swim by Louis Vuitton, right? But a lot of people that are into niche fragrances that follow me love Vibrato, all right? So this is kind of like a grapefruit fragrance on my skin that has that Ambroxan push. I actually brought a sample of this when I went to Vegas, and I did use it on my night out, and dude, outside was like 90 degrees. So it was literally the perfect fragrance to bring because it's midnight, it's 2 in the morning, and it's 90 degrees outside. So you're still kind of sweaty, it's fresh, and this thing is pushing. Like, I still smelled this on me the next morning. This is an over 10-hour fragrance, all right? So be careful about that. If you're somebody that's planning to overspray it, trust me, you don't need to do that. But this is just such a high-quality smelling scent. Again, I still prefer Afternoon Swim, just to my nose smell-wise. But for all of y'all that love Tigar, you love Arrakis, Spirit of Kings, I think you will like Vibrato. All right, next up, we've got Rehab by Initio. All right, so Rehab to me is kind of slept on. To me, it smells similar to Spice Bomb Extreme by Viktor and Rolf. And in fact, I remember when I first said that, people said that they thought this smelled like the original Spice Bomb. And to me, I don't get that correlation with it. This to me is much more of the extreme, but not so much sweetness, right? So this is like a lavender fragrance. There's some bergamot in it. And it's, I can't even, here's what I'm going to say about this fragrance. It's the type of scent that when you wear it to your Thanksgiving party, right? Your Friendsgiving, Christmas, the holidays are coming around. It's not the type of fragrance other people around you will be wearing, and they will be curious about it. Because even though this is not like my favorite scent, the reason it's on this list is because I know the way that people react to it, and it's in a positive way. I actually wore this on skin and on clothes, and I actually preferred it more on clothes than I did on skin. And this is like the perfect time to wear it right now because you can have like your nice little knitted sweater on and you're smelling like Rehab. It's just like, it's unique, but it's lovable. You know, there have been times, a lot of times actually, you know, I say a lot, but maybe close to, this could be considered a lot, like 5 to 6 times with different people that I did wear Rehab around, and they would kind of give me that double sniff where they're like, hey, that smells nice. Like, then they'll ask me like, what are you wearing? You know, and I'll say it's Rehab because I don't gatekeep my niche fragrances, because you say what it is and people are like, oh, Rehab by Initio, is that a Coach fragrance? Like, that happens a lot of times. Then you have to describe like what a niche scent is. But anyways, this scent has gotten me a lot of those like curious, like, what is that? And then I say what it is and they're like, what are you even talking about? What does that even mean? Can I get it at Ulta? And the answer is no, you can't get it at Ulta. But this scent is just like, the memories are coming back, dude. It was a little bit woody in the dry down for me, just like a little bit of a cedar wood dry down, if y'all are into that. But the best description to me of how I see it is Spice Bomb Extreme, just removed from a little bit, like removed from some of the tobacco and pulled back a little bit with the sweetness, because this goes in a more broad sort of like it, like the umbrella for something like Rehab isn't as polarizingly sweet as Spice Bomb Extreme, where you know that's a sweet scent. Like, this can still be worn in spring. You could still wear it in fall, winter. I wouldn't recommend wearing this in the summertime. Whereas Spice Bomb Extreme is like, boom, winter fragrance. All right. So this one, absolutely fire. Next up, this is my baby, bro. I talked about this so much. Salt and Pepper by Precious Liquid. And just look at the juice. The juice is slowly, slowly just falling and falling and falling. In fact, I actually have kind of been like not using this as much as I used to because I'm also kind of getting worried. I'm like, dude, this is going by faster than I wanted it to. But salt and pepper is a peppery scent with ambroxan. Now, the most common question I get is, does that smell like Dior Sauvage? Honestly, no. To me, I'm going to say no. And my experience with salt and pepper is this, because a lot of the women that I'm around, very familiar with Sauvage, in particular the EDT and the EDP concentration, where like they know that smell back of their hand, because Sauvage is the most popular fragrance that is in my area, bar none, right? So when I wore salt and pepper around them, they were gushing. They were going nuts. They were going feral over this fragrance. And I know that if they thought it smelled like Sauvage, they would definitely say, are you wearing Dior Sauvage? But that was not the case. They loved this scent. And to me, like I've said so many times before, y'all, this is the fragrance you get if you're trying to get compliments from women. If you are somebody that is hanging out with women, if you are somebody that is social, salt and pepper is the way to go. But if you're somebody that is like you mainly hang out with guys, I don't like, yeah, guys might like this, but they're not going to go nuts about it. It's not going to be something that your homeboys are going to be like on their knees for. You know what I mean? But this scent, I've said this story before. I'm going to say it again. This is one of my followers that told me this. He went clubbing with his friends. He wore salt and pepper. His other friends were wearing Bleu de Chanel, Sauvage, Aventus, stuff like that. And he was the only one getting a lot of compliments from women that night. Like they were literally swarming him. And then his friends at the end of the night were like, bro, what scent are you wearing? And like 2 or 3 of them ended up buying the same fragrance. Don't you like hate like something gets your throat? They ended up buying the same fragrance as him. So I'm happy that he liked it. And now he was kind of like, I gotta gatekeep it. So I'm trying to help him. I tried to help him get onto other fragrances, but he really fell for this one right here. So salt and pepper, great with women's reactions. That is all I'm gonna say. If you hang out with women, this one is a must. All right, next up, we've got Oud Wood. Oud Wood by Tom Ford. And this is actually, I was going to say my favorite Tom Ford fragrance, but Grey Vetiver is a close second as of right now. But this was the oud scent that was the first likable oud to me. Now, the argument can be had that that's not even an oud fragrance, and I get that. And I think that's why I liked it so much, is because every single time I would smell oud, it would smell like a barnyard. It'd smell like shit. And I was just like, I don't see why people are literally just going absolutely nuts about like something that smells like you stuck your head in a barnyard and you're like smelling cow shit. You know what I mean? Until Oud Wood. And I was like, huh, it just smells like clean, fresh wood. Honestly. And the perfumer of this is Richard Herpen, the guy that's brand is Precious Liquid. So I was like, okay, all right, this guy knows how to make some good perfume, you know. But Oud Wood, downside is the fact that the performance is not the best, all right? Even though people consider this a date night scent and a more nighttime-esque fragrance, it doesn't perform like a nighttime-esque fragrance where you're getting 8 hours plus. You know, this one, I think, on me, it's like noticeable within 5 to 6 hours. In fact, I prefer wearing it in the daytime because I like the way it mixes when like the heat's coming down, and it just kind of helps the fragrance project, and it just peels back some layers with this fragrance. But this one right here is very, how do I say it? It's the type of scent you want to wear if you're getting dressed up. Even if you're dressed down, it's still going to work. But if you're like suited up a little, like, and you're going to like a gala, your hair's nice, you want to smell nice, you whip out Oud Wood by Tom Ford, yeah, you're going to smell really, really good. But Oud Wood is actually labeled as a unisex fragrance. There are a lot of women that do like to wear it, but I will say it does go more in the masculine direction. And if it wasn't obvious, Salt and Pepper, a more masculine fragrance. All right. Baccarat Rouge 540 by MFK. Now, yes, this bottle that I'm holding was actually given to me by a follower, and it's a fake bottle. But don't worry, I've smelled the actual one, all right? But I'm still smelling it. It still smells pretty similar. All right, anyways, Baccarat Rouge is a sweet cotton candy fragrance. I get a lot of people that ask me, can I pull it off if I'm a guy? I say if you have to ask if you can pull off a fragrance, don't wear the fragrance. All right. A lot of people, especially with men in particular that wear Baccarat Rouge, you have to have that kind of confidence already of like, yeah, I can pull this off. You got to wear the fragrance. The fragrance can't wear you. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of athletes and rappers that have actually taken a huge liking to Baccarat Rouge 540. In particular, a couple NBA players are coming to my mind. But that sort of confidence, and yeah, they're NBA players, but having that confidence of, oh yeah, I'm going to smell good. Yeah, it's like a sweet cotton candy fragrance, but who cares? I like it. That's already attractive. So if you're somebody that's like, oh, I don't know if I should, then just don't wear it. All right. Now, to me, I do find this to be much more of a feminine fragrance, but a lot of people have been being more experimental with it. And I love that because I know that this would smell different on a guy than it would on a girl because skin chemistry just varies from person to person. So see if you like it, see if you don't like it. But y'all, I would recommend looking into the Extrait de Parfum. This is the EDP, but look into Baccarat Rouge Extrait if you have the opportunity to do so. All right, next up is my baby. It's Elysium. Look how many fingerprints are on it. She almost looks disgusting in the best way possible. You know what I mean? But look at that. Look at the juice. There's literally barely anything left in here. But on me, this is a lemon pineapple cocktail scent. Oh my God. It's so fire. It is so fire. But note-wise, I believe it's actually grapefruit and juniper berry. That's what it is. All right, so Elysium is more of a masculine fragrance, and it's just your very easy to like, very approachable, life of the party fragrance. It's the type of niche scent that you can wear around people that are not into fragrances, and they're gonna go nuts. I've received so many compliments from men and women whenever I wore this scent. People just loved it. My most memorable story wearing Elysium was the time that I went to a party and then I was yakking, and then people that were around me were still smelling me, and they were like, damn, I know you're throwing up, but like, you smell good. And I have a video documented on my channel of that time. All right, so you know that I'm not just BSing it right now. Like I made sure when I got home, I'm like, I gotta make a video on this because the reactions are wild. I'm literally yakking right now. All right, but performance with Elysium on me does supersede 5 to 6 hours. Now for you, it could be a different story. All right, because I know some people really hate the longevity of Elysium, but one thing I will say, y'all, is going nose blind to fragrances is very common. All right, so just because you can't smell your scent after 30 minutes doesn't mean it completely disappeared. And I have videos explaining that phenomenon. All right, so Elysium, Rage Parfums. This is the Parfum Cologne version of it. All right, couple more fragrances here. This one, oh, Bel Canto. This is more of a feminine fragrance to me. I find it to be like a fruity sweet scent. And I actually do like it better than Vibrato by Sospiro. Just because for this, when I smelled it, I didn't associate it with another fragrance. There wasn't something that was kind of competing with it. It just kind of stood its own ground. And I was like, yeah, I feel like if you like Lamar by Kajal Perfumes, you like fragrances like that, I think you're really going to like Bel Canto. And this to me is like a bougie girl sort of scent. You know, it's definitely not something that like your average person that has not really seen perfume, like they would look at it and be like, oh, I'm going to buy that fragrance just off the bat. Like this is for someone that already has an established niche collection. All right. This is not for the person that has, you know, their 3 to 5 scents. Like if you own this fragrance, I know that you got bottles on bottles on bottles. Now, in terms of performance, this is an over 8-hour fragrance on me. And I would say spray it on clothes if you want it to last longer. And lastly, Cedar Posay Mancera. Now, unfortunately for me, I still have yet to try the intense version of the fragrance and the newer formulation of the scent because this is the screw cap version of it. But lately, I've been getting a lot of comments from people that say that even with their newer formulation, like the magnetic cap, the performance is still really good. So it's been really 50-50 as of lately, because before a lot more people would say that, oh, like the performance sucks. But recently I've been hearing more of that the performance is really, really good, almost reminiscent to the one that I have right here. So this is definitely kind of like a pineapple-y fresh fragrance in the opening, and the dry down is like cedar. It's like a woody, masculine dry down for sure. All right, now I don't find this similar to Aventus That's a big question I get with Cedrat Rosé, with Elysium, even with Dior Sauvage. They're like, is it true that Sauvage is a dupe of Aventus? No. No, they're not. They're not, all right? And this, maybe because of like the yellow juice and like the freshness in the opening of it, because of the likability, but they're not fragrances that you're gonna get confused with. Like, you're not gonna smell Aventus and be like, oh, Cedrat Rosé. You know, you will not get confused with it. But this one, I would get a lot of compliments on my scent trail. This thing would push. I'm telling you, I would only do like 1 to 2 sprays of this fragrance because it's a less is more type of scent. If I did over 5, it would be nauseating for me. I'd get a migraine probably, and other people around me if we were in like a smaller, like a closed room, closed door sort of environment, it would kind of piss people off. But even with 1 to 2 sprays, this thing carries. Absolutely carries. Massive, massive, massive compliment getter in my collection. And I know if you look at this, you're like, you're bullshitting. Look how much juice, like you barely used it. I don't need to use a lot of this scent. And whether people believe me or not, like the reactions I got from this are very real. There's no reason for me to lie about a fragrance. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't, I've never lied about my opinion on any fragrance, and it doesn't make sense for me to do that and to make like 20 videos on one scent talking about my reactions from that fragrance. But there it is, just in short. There's a lot more fragrances that can be on this list, but I wanted to pick apart some that a lot of people have been asking me about and that they've been wanting to pull the trigger on for Black Friday. And I'm giving you the thumbs up that these are valid. Like, these are legit fragrances. If you're somebody that does want to smell good, you want it to be a unique scent because nobody else will have it around you, maybe with the exception of Dior Homme 2020, but I disagree because that's still not as popular. You know what I'm saying? So smell good this holiday season, this Thanksgiving, this Christmas. And again, the codes for all this sort of stuff gonna be in the comment section pinned and in the description box in case y'all want to support your girl. Of course, you don't have to, but it's appreciated if you do. All right, I hope y'all have a great day. See you in the next video. Take care. Bye.